or my way. Yes. So you know that one of the first sins in the Bible was Adam and Eve, right? And that God told Adam and Eve, you may enjoy everything in this beautiful garden that I made for you.
Swal nak athok nak cho Adam le Evi sinin se pathian ni kha Adam le Evi kha sarn hai dum chunga khan tar hai thing thai za pi le te khanan ai kho di kau te ten ha.
But God said, there is one tree you cannot eat the fruit from the one tree.
Asana tin pathian ni thing pakhat te kha mai thai atlai ni ko nan ai khau lai lo nan ai khau lo te ten ha.
But you also know about the serpent, the snake. The snake came and he tempted Eve.
Rule asana tin rule kha Satan kha arak rai Evi kha atuk for.
The serpent said, you are not supposed to eat from the tree because if you do, you will know everything like God.
Rule ni khan achim ni na cho pathian ni ma thingkung he ai lau antimi na he arwang cho nan ai si a cha ma pathian ben tu in nan salai cha si te a for na.
The serpent said, that's not true. You can eat of that fruit.
He pathian ni ai lau antimi na kham han lau ma thing thai nan ai kho kau te a hen ha.
Eve did eat the fruit. She disobeyed God. And she had her husband, Adam, eat the fruit.
Evi ni khan pathian ni achim mi kha angai lawe Satan ni achim ban tu khan thing thai kha ai aba pa Adam jong kha ai tar ve.
So what is sin? It's when we disobey God.
Swal nak tu zai da si swal nak tu pathian du mi kan twa lo mi kha swal nak tu se.
Did Adam and Eve choose God's way or their way? Yes.
Adam le Evi ni khan zai lam da ni thim an ma du mi ma ni thim pathian du mi da ni thim an ma du mi ni thim.
Adam and Eve had two sons, Cain and Abel.
Adam le Evi ni khan pa pa pan hi an ngai Cain la Abel.
Cain worked on the farm. He grew many fruits, vegetables, grains.
Cain kha lau thau tu se thing thai tam pi kha atu na
Fruits.
thing thai tam lau thau mi se.
Abel was a shepherd. He took care of animals.
Abel kha chu saram zwa tu se saram pol kha azau khen na.
Now Cain thought that he worked harder.
Cain ni khan kanau Abel nak in khan thak do in rian ka tuan ka tha do te arwa.
When Cain would go home in the evening, oh, his back hurt, and he would look at Abel and think, you did not work as hard as I worked.
Zan na rian tuan na chana khan Cain ni khan ka ba tu kai chu te anau kha Abel kha zo inang chu zai man na to mi lau ke mi rian ka tuan do te khan te.
Cain became jealous. Anger. He had anger toward Abel.
Au pa Cain ni khan anau pa Abel khan ha chwa athin abu ma chuma.
Now after Adam and Eve were kicked out of the Garden of Eden, they could no longer see God every day.
Adam le Evi kha swal nak pathian non nei lo wa khan pathian ne dum chung in Eden dum chung khan achwa tar ha ma achwa tar ha huwa khan chon pathian khan ni sin ten hu khau ti lo.
They would talk to God by building an altar, burning a sacrifice, so the smoke would take their prayers up to God.
Pathian na khan mai to ni ni chon khau ti lo pathian ani chon nak cho rai thoi nak to in mai khu kha wan chung akai mi ma in khan rai thoi nak lo in khan pathian ani chon khau chang.
And God told Cain, I cannot hear your prayers well because you have evil anger in your heart.
Pathian ni khan kai kha na cham nak na cham nak kha ka thai khau lo wa ti zai ronga sia chun na lung chung khan pha chwa nak chin hun nak kha kha mani kan ta jam na kha pen e de
But Cain did not change.
asna ting kain kha a khlem thai lo
Was Cain choosing God's way or his way?
kain ni khan ama du nak ma a chim pathian du nak da chim
So it came time to give the offering.
e pathian sin ni tho lo mo an mi chun pek chan kha chu chang
In those days, they would burn the offering. We don't do that now.
ma liu cha na khan chon atu ban tu in hen atu rai tho na in law in khan pathian kha rak pek ho se
Abel the shepherd brought a lamb and sacrificed the lamb, burned it. The smoke went way up to God.
abel ni khan angai ni chun tu pakhat kha tha e rai tho na atwa e ama rai tho na kha chu pathian sin na phan
Cain gave his offering of fruits, but when he burned it, the smoke stayed down below, and it was black smoke, and it burned everybody's eyes.
kai ni khan chon rai tho na kha atwa be thing thai a chin ni chung in thing thai pol la ti sik an na pol kha rai tho na ga chon atwa be na te in me khan akhang de na te in khan amai khu ka pathian sin na phan lo ban chung a phan lo bolai ta na khan me khu gel te kha anak pin khan ase mi gel te kha a chu ta mi kha bu tar khaw lo
And Cain was more mad because Abel's fire went up to heaven. Cain's did not.
ikan kha chin dung chin zai wa ma ti se chon ana pa abel ni rai tho na atwa mi kha chu pathian sin na phan asana te ama ni rai tho na kha chu pathian sin na phan lo
So Cain killed Abel.
ikan ni khan ana abel khan ha chwa wa khan atha
Is that sin?
mu chu so na to sama
Did Cain do it God's way or his way?
kai ni khan ama du nak ma a chim pathian du nak da a chim
Did God know? Yes.
pathian ni khan kai ni anaw tha mi kha thai ma
After Adam and Eve ate the fruit, they went and hid because now they knew that was a bad thing to do. And God said, "Where are you?"
pathian ni khan ma ti so na an to an hu khan a kol chang tha khoi ka da nan ani thup so na an to mi khan thai chang a ani thup e pathian ni khan a kol na
But God did not have to ask. He really knew where they
pathian ni
were.
khan khoi ka da ta mi ta thai kau chamo asana ti khan khoi ka da nan ta mi kha hal sham sham na
And when Cain killed Abel, God said, "Cain, what have you done?"
e kai ni khan anaw abel kha tha ti khan pathian ni khan kai zai dan na to chang ya
And Cain denied his responsibility. He would not tell God. He hid it in his heart.
pathian ni khan kai ni khan so na atwa mi kha pathian a chim du law athu
He said, "What? Am I supposed to be the keeper of Abel?"
pathian ni khan kai khan anaw khoi ka da ja hal ti khan kai ni ka thai lo wa ka naw zo khen tu ma ka si ka naw jong tu ma ka si ja le pathian
God always knows. That's why we must always choose the good choice, God's way.
pathian ni khan kan to mi vel te kha thai di a mu di ma cha chun pathian du na kha ka ni chim lang mang a ha
Now, when it came to be in the New Testament, soon there was the last sacrifice where they would kill something and give it to God.
Bible cha chung khan te be kam thara khan rai thoi na adok nak bit an to mi kha kan hu kho
Jesus is the last sacrifice, and he is for our sin.
Jisu Christ vai lam ta nak chung an tha mi kha adok nak bit rai thoi na an to mi se mo pathian Jisu Christ khan cha a thi kan ma cha khan rai thoi na an to
Jesus is God's Son.
Jisu chu pathian fa ba se
Jesus could do anything.
Jisu ni kan zai pau to kho na thon na ngai ko.
When they put crowns on his head, he could have stopped. He had a choice. He could have stopped.
Alu chunga khan te hin lu chin an chin lewa khan Jisu Christ ne khan vai lam ta na in lo ding kha a chim kho kau.
But he allowed it.
Asana din khan pathian du na asacha khan atwa.
Jesus had a choice. Did he do it God's way? Yes.
Jisu Christ ni kan pathian du nak ma atwa ma du nak da atwa.
Even though it hurt.
Afak vai lam ta na in ding kha afak ni asakaw na ti in.
They made Jesus carry the heavy cross all the way to the top of the mountain.
Vai lam ta tung arit tuk mi kha Jisu Christ kha an put ta re tang par chung tia.
He could have stopped it. Did he choose God's way?
Jisu ni khan to vai lam ta na in lo kha anga pau asana din khan pathian du na sta khan pathian du na tu kha athi.
They killed Jesus on the cross.
Jisu Christ kha vai lam ta nak chungan tha.
He could have come off of that cross. He could have flown down if he wanted to.
Vai lam ta nak chungin khan tum kho jong asakaw ka du lo ti kho asakaw thon nak kha el kho nak power kha ngai ko na ti in adu lo pathian du na kha thiam.
Did he choose the right way? Did he choose God's way? Yes.
Jisu ni khan amhan mi lam kha thim ma pathian du mi lam kha thim ma.
And because he was God's son, and because this was God's plan,
ama chu pathian fa ase pathian ne vai lam ta nak ding in ni kha atim piak ni se chang cha ase.
On the third day, God raised Jesus from the dead.
Ni thum nuwa khan pathian ni atim arak atim cha ban tun khan ni thum nuwa khan Jisu Christ ka thi na atho ta than.
Things would have been different if Jesus sinned and did it my way.
Jisu Christ khan ama du nak kha pathian du nak san ama du nak kha rak atim solo cho thil del te kha dang di khau ni se.
Can we blame others for sin like Cain was trying to get out of having killed Abel? Can we blame others for sin?
Mi dang kha swal na an to wa khan swal kan pho khau na ma.
You know, Eve said, well, God, the man you made for me, he made me eat that fruit.
Eve ni khan te pathian sing khan kapal talon khan apa an pa Adam tu kha swal apu thing then ai ti khan mo naka pek ni pa ni pa ya kha ai tar ko chu te khan ama kha swal na khai phuang du lo in khan mi dang tu kha pu na swal apu.
Does God know about our sin?
Pathian ni kha swal na kha thai ka lo ma.
He knows every one of our sins.
Mi nong pakhat chiu hi ka swal nak le te pathian ni thai ni.
Did God give us Jesus so that Jesus would pay for our sin?
Pathian ni Jisu kan pek ni he kan ma swal nak in ok cha sa ka lo ma.
Will God forgive us of our sins if we say that we are sorry?
Pathian kha ra kan ngai thiam ko ka swal ko ra kan ngai thiam ko te swal nak kan swal kai phon